get them started. All right. Who that in there already? I don't know. All right.
Those of us that indulge in or commit intellectual violence don't do so for the pleasure of mental masturbation or ego diddling. We do so because the chains of oppression on our people's minds are deep and difficult to remove.
Good morning, my children of the sun. Welcome to the Open Eye on WHGE 95.3 FM. I'm your host, third eye optometrist, Patrice Gibbs. That's right, here to educate you. Get your eye open. Yeah, I know you've been starving like Marvin for some open eye knowledge. That's right. Hey, good morning, Sherry. Brother Earl, how you doing? All right. Look, let me get this out the way. Okay, that's my disclaimer. Okay.
The views and opinions expressed on the Open Eye are those of the hosts, guests, and contributors, and do not reflect the policy or position of WHGE 95.3 FM, nor our sponsor, the Delaware Center for Homeless Vets. Any content provided by Open Eye's hosts, guests, or contributors are theirs and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, company, or individual.
WHGE 95.3 FM, the Open Eye. Yeah, I know. I missed last week. I was dealing with some problems with my back. My back was out. Had a pinched nerve in my back. Still dealing with a little pain here, but not enough to keep me from educating my people. That's right. You know, I was born in the 60s, telling my age, but hey, I'm proud to make it. That's word. Grew up really in the 60s and the 70s, you know. During that time, we knew our neighbors. And a lot of times, we didn't need to lock the door. I had one neighbor or a family that were neighbors and were like family to me. I don't think they ever locked their door. That's word. You know, there were actually such things as service stations. And when we called a business, they actually answered the phone. You call a business nowadays and you get a computer and this, that, and the other, and they tell you to go to it's a mess. Technology was a matter of good TV reception. And usually I was the remote control. Get up and turn to channel 3. Yeah. And you know what? Kids play with each other safely from sun up to sundown. I could play just about anywhere I wanted without supervision, anywhere in the city. Playgrounds were safe. Neighborhoods were safe. There were no play dates. We just knocked on each other's door. You know, I grew up thinking superheroes were my dad and his brothers. Music was great. Love songs were actually about love, not just about sex and screwing. You know, in school, I had any program I wanted, sports, music, and no school activity was ever dropped due to a lack of funding. Above all, I respected my parents and teachers. And that's what it was like growing up in the 60s and 70s. A lot of us have no idea, and you know, I feel sorry for kids nowadays. That's where, you know, one of the things that I mentioned the last time I was on here was how extensively the African traveled, okay? And this was all over the world. There are, how can I say, I don't really want to call it a rumor or conspiracy theory. But there are over 1,000 caves in the Grand Canyon, and you can only visit one. According to this conspiracy theory, I hate to call it that, but there were actually Egyptian artifacts found in one of the caves that dated back to Ramses II. See, our ancestors explored the world. Okay, and you wonder why there were no evidence of great wars and bloodshed and what have you. Okay, like I said, our ancestors explored the world thousands of years ago, not to conquer and murder, but to spread wisdom and knowledge throughout civilization. We educated the world, for those of you that aren't aware of that, you know. Now, yeah, some people, and it's been going on for a while now, seen a brother that was, how can I say, arguing or debating with some people that said that we have no connection to Africa. It's ridiculous. Of course we're Africans. You know, look, let me say this. This is how I heard one brother break it down. This was pretty good. Okay. If we are indigenous to America, where are the evidence of our civilization? See, we were great builders. You know, you look throughout Africa, not just Egypt, Benin, Ghana, the great Mali Empire. We were great builders and educators. Okay. Now, those of you that know Mansa Musa, who was the richest man in history, okay, you know that Mansa Musa was a title. That was not actually his name. The Mansa Musa before him traveled with some 3,000 ships to the Americas. And you look in the Americas, and there are pyramids, of course, of a lesser quality than the original pyramids, okay? But there's something else that stands out to me when you hear the name Mansa Musa. You go to Central America, Mexico, and South America, and what have you, okay? And what is one of the greatest names of the rulers from that area? It is Montezuma. You know, if you think about it, you listen to that, Montezuma, Mansa Musa. It's a corruption of his name. That's basically all it is. It's a corruption of the title Mansa Musa, Montezuma, because these same people that were indigenous to the land were educated to the Africans that came in. Okay, we educated the world. Understand that. I'm Patrice Gibbs. This is The Open Eye on WHGE 95.3 FM. Let me give you a little music break here. All right, because we're going to move on to some really heavy stuff. All right. WHGE 95.3 FM. Hey, Sister Tracy, I see you there. All right. Dr. John Henry Clark teaches us that the major religions, Judaism, Islam, and Christianity, are male chauvinist murder cults in the way that they're practiced. He also teaches us that these religions were copied, of course, from the African spiritual systems and were corrupt. How dare you say male chauvinist murder cults? Oh, that's what they were. So your religions have murdered, raped, tortured, abused, coerced, pillaged, persecuted, sacrificed, harassed, rampaged, terrorized, swindled, exploited, endangered, threatened, corrupted, committed genocide, and lied its way around the world to spread this message. But I'm the one going to hell for not believing in this BS. Okay? I'm the one going to hell for that. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You know the damage that these corrupt spiritual systems have done? Oh, but Jesus was a black man. Oh, what race was Jesus? Oh, this is going to hurt some of my Christian friends. No race, because he never existed. Jesus was a fictional character invented around 300 AD by the Roman Emperor Constantine. However, the unoriginality of the Roman imagination caused them to look for existing religious stories on which to base their Jesus myth. So they chose to plagiarize the African legend of Asur, Aset, and Haru, the most famous religious story of antiquity, but claim it as their own. Of course, this fooled no one, and so the Romans went around on a genocidal campaign murdering anyone who professed the Kushite Kemetic spiritual science. It took them 2 centuries to complete their murderous holocaust of ancient Nile spiritualists. With this, the memory of the original plagiarized story was forgotten until the dawn of archaeology rediscovered the ancient link. Okay? So you understood what went on there. Remember what I told you. Arius the Libyan, an African spiritualist, was at the Council of Nicaea. And he told the members that, y'all know we're not actually supposed to believe this. WHGE 95.3 FM, the Open Eye. Get your stuff together. Yeah. All right. What up, bro? All right. Yes. The Open Eye on WHGE 95.3 FM. And joining me on the air, my partner in consciousness, our intellectual surgeon, Nsoromma. What's up, brother? Cha-cha. Oh, gotta turn his mic on for him to say what's up to y'all.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, go on, world.
Why?
Bro, I heard you coming in, you know what I'm saying?
Word.
Yo, Masa Musa.
Yes, Lord.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yo, why they be trying to do us dirty, man?
Oh,
they got
man.
schemes for on top of schemes, on top of schemes.
Yes, indeed.
Wow.
We're going to start here. All right. One of the things that I grew up dealing with was in 1977 here in Delaware.
Right.
Was the push for busing, school desegregation. Let me tell you about segregation, about desegregation of schools. Okay? It has been a cruel joke on African American students. After the 1954 Brown versus Board of Education ruling, few schools actually desegregated. Some school districts took as long as 20 years to make some semblance of racial adjustment. Now, listen to what I said.
20 years?
20 years. More than that here. Because Brown versus Board of Education was 1954. School deseg started here in 77. Okay, that's 23 years after the decision to desegregate schools were made. Now, these desegregation efforts were met with so much white resentment, hostility, and violence as the efforts were in the 1950s. Okay, African American leaders were confused about the tactics to educate our children. They confused quality with whiteness. Let me tell you what my mom said. My mom said, don't desegregate the schools, desegregate the resources, because we have quality teachers turning out college-ready students with substandard resources. Imagine what they could do if they had the right resources. But no, like I said, our people were have confused quality with whiteness. This is the dumbest crap. They were fooled by the illusion of inclusion because the white schools were much better funded than the African American schools, would be able to take advantage of the resources that the white students enjoyed. So that was their motivation. Thinking that, moving them over here where these white students had, better resources would be better for our children. But what they didn't take into account was that you were sending our children into hostile suburbia to people who had every plan, every motivation to see them fail.
To be slaughtered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was immense efforts made to see students fail. Many of these efforts were actually successful. Here in Delaware, the dropout was obscene. And I don't call it dropout, I call it the push-out rate.
Right.
Mm-hmm. One district in Wilmington, for 2 years, suffered a 100% dropout rate. That means not one student from that district graduated from high school. Now, because of charter schools, private schools, special education, alternative schools, racist school boards, and state legislation, many schools are even more segregated than ever. Desegregation has proven to be an abject failure. African Americans made a major mistake attempting to desegregate schools. Their efforts should have been, like my mother said, focused on desegregating the resources. WHGE 95.3 FM. Oh, we're not finished with education, y'all. Because we got some real crap going on when it comes to what goes on in our schools. Okay? For instance, now we just celebrated Martin Luther King Day.
Right.
Okay.
Which wasn't his birthday.
Which wasn't his birthday.
They always throw something in the game.
Oh, yeah. Well, they just wanted a day off. And in the South, some of these racist bastards.
What was his real birthday?
January 15th. But they celebrated on the 16th because they want a 3-day weekend. Yeah, so much respect. So much respect, And these same people running around talking about, Dr. King had a dream and we need to judge people by their character and this, that, and the other. Couldn't stand Dr. King. That's what.
Who, you?
No.
Oh, the people. The people. Man.
Like, for instance, what is it? Everybody's living the dream. Starbucks was living. Get the hell out of here.
Boop. Oh, I ain't even boop there. I thought you was going to go deep on that.
Oh, okay. A white Louisiana school secretary is now out of a job. You know why?
Nah, I was going to say why.
Yeah, because she leaked a text message, which she called Martin Luther King Day N-word Day. And we know what she meant. The text message thread was posted to school media and sparked a flurry of outrage. I don't know why. Why are you surprised? This is who these people are. She meant to say that to one person, sent it to the wrong person, and then she got to say, I was just joking. And get to crying and all this, that, and the other.
No, bye-bye.
Yeah, you go to hell, you racist hussy. Yeah, that's what it is.
And when you have that kind of thing going on all the time behind the scenes, how do we expect progress?
How do we? How do we possibly expect progress with that kind of crap going on?
Through the Open Eye radio show. That's how you expect it.
Yes.
You're getting that knowledge. So you're on the lookout for them type of things.
Now, by now, I know most people who follow any politics at all know who the governor of Florida is. Okay? Ron DeSantis, who I call Ron DeSatan.
Ron DeSatan.
Yeah. This is one of the most racist fools. You know what he has done. And what he's basically done, he has pushed this law through in Florida called the Stop Woke Act. Okay? Now, what right-wing conservatives have done is they equate woke with black. So anything woke is code for black, according to them. That's their mindset.
Right.
So he has to stop woke act. What he's really saying is to stop black act.
From learning.
From learning.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
they never wanted us to learn to read anyway.
no.
They wanted to keep us as gullible as possible.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So they can keep us in that slave mode.
Now, 3 Florida high school students are threatening to file a lawsuit against the Sunshine State and its white nationalist overlord, Ron DeSantis, over the state's rejection of an advanced placement course on African American history. What he's basically doing is he's outlawing African American history. That's what he's basically doing, and it gets real deep too. Okay.
And it's only 3 people that's putting in a lawsuit. I would think every black person in the city of that state should be putting in a lawsuit.
Yeah. Well, you know, these 3 stepped up to represent, and I respect that.
I respect that too.
That's what okay. Now, like I said, you know, this advanced placements course on African American history was rejected because DeSantis and his cohorts identify with the white, conservative, and fragile, and that's all that really matters to them. You know, certainly there have been other advanced placement histories, such as advanced placement European history, advanced placement U.S. history, advanced placement world history, all predominantly generated towards white people. Okay? And that's the deal. And that's exactly the truth.
Right.
There's nothing inherent about white-centered history that undermines American jingoism.
Jingoism.
Yes.
Jingoism. Break it down, baby.
Well,
Jingoism.
yeah. You know, you ever seen the commercial where they had these little jingles on? Yeah, that's basically what white American history is. It's nothing but a mythology and a jingle. That's all the hell it is. That's all the hell it is. You know, or you know, the ideal of American exceptionalism. American is exceptional. The hell it is.
What?
Yeah.
Exceptional at killing.
And that, yeah. Exceptional at making bombs and racism.
Hey.
Yeah. So there's never any real controversy here unless you ask black people who object to the romanticized way in which European and American history tend to be presented at the expense of those who were historically oppressed during that history.
Right.
See, here's what they don't want. They don't want their grandchildren, okay, because they want you to have the ideal that this racist stuff was so long ago and it's going on right now, okay?
Right.
They don't want their grandchildren to know how deeply they were involved in the racism and oppression of black people, but not just their grandchildren, but some of them as well.
Right.
Okay? Because you look at some of these photos, which they always present in black and white, especially the photos
hanging and lynching, and they standing there at the barbecue
Yeah.
and all of that with them, and with the kids, promoting the kids to be part of it. I mean,
you know, and you look at the pictures from the 50s, 60s, and the 70s.
That's a
you
real
know, and they
ugly
put them in black and white, okay, to give you the idea that this was so long ago. But no, this was in my lifetime.
Right. It was. The picture could have been color.
Yeah.
But they chose black and white.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
They do that all the time.
Yeah.
And a lot of history, especially dealing with us.
Well, DeSantis, let me tell you about this dude. He was actually a history teacher. And in his history class, he let it be known that African American history, as far as he was concerned, and his white cohorts, have no educational value. So what you're saying is we have no value.
Right.
Okay? And if you allow this to go on, that's why I look at these 3 students, you know, with a lot of respect. If we allow this to go on, you know, each generation is going to be taught that our history has no value. And of course our history has value.
Our history has the most value.
It has the most
Everywhere
value.
you go, a black or African person was there already.
Yeah. That's right. And let me tell you how deep this gets. Okay? Because if you teach as a teacher in Florida, okay, what they are doing is now they're regulating the classroom library. So Florida teachers are forced to remove or cover up books to avoid felony charges. If you are found with a book that goes against this Stop Woke Act,
Wow.
You can
Go to
face
jail.
yes,
Jail time.
with a third-degree felony.
Man, listen to that, man. Listen to all the things that they put in place to stop us or anybody that wants to know the true facts.
Of our history.
Yeah, just listen to all the things that they are doing to try to stop that, to try to cover up their act of, that is genocide.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, that's just
intellectual genocide.
Yeah, intellectual genocide.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to stop us from knowing who our ancestor was and knowing the real, we didn't start off as slaves.
Of course not.
Of course not. So, and when they came here and when they brought people on the slave ships over to America or whatever, it was already black people here.
Yeah, there were already black people here.
Oh my.
But let us not forget, because I don't want to get mixed up with these conspiracy theory and these people that are so-called black indigenous.
Okay.
That those black people that are already here, they came from Africa.
Right.
Don't get that mixed.
Right.
Okay. Now back to this thing.
I'm gonna have to cut you off because they make it seem like we were dumb.
Right.
When we were the main people that was traveling around the world and doing trade and import and export trading, and they don't say anything about that. They took all of the skills from that and then turned it into this American.
Because we showed them how to get here.
Yeah. Wash up and all kind of stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Now, school teachers in Florida's Manatee County are removing books from their classrooms or physically covering them up after this new bill went into effect that prohibited materials unless deemed appropriate by a librarian or a certified media specialist.
Wow.
Okay? Which means a racist asshole. Boo! Okay? Who's going to come in and tell you that this black history has no value.
Who are they to say our history has no value? I mean, that's what's going on in America, man.
That's what's going on,
man.
And like I said, if a teacher is found in violation of these guidelines, they could face felony charges. The new guidelines for the Florida law, known as HB 1476, outline the books be free of pornographic material. Okay, who's going to give kids pornographic material? That's just silly. Are suited to students' needs and their ability to comprehend the material and appropriate for the grade level and age group. Let me tell you something. Don't underestimate our children, okay? Don't underestimate our children. Because our children are actually very smart.
Yes.
And they can comprehend, and this is what you're afraid of, see, is that they can comprehend what devils you are.
Wow. And even their kids. I ran into some white kids that don't like what their parents is putting on them.
Right.
And rebelling against their parents.
Now
that's what's going to have to change the mindset of these racists. You know what I'm saying? Your best friend being black and saved your life. You know what I'm saying? A couple times. And now your parents want to treat them bad. You, as a good person, won't let that happen. You'll leave your house. You'll leave your parents, and that's what they're doing.
Okay. You know what? Here's the thing. All right. These parents, and these racist educators,
right?
Okay. Their problem is this: instead of teaching their children to identify with the white heroes, true heroes of their history, they have taught them to identify with the racist and the
most evilest
right.
and the demonistic ones that there is to out there.
With.
Yeah.
Right. You're teaching your children to identify with the wrong people.
Right.
See, here's the thing. Racism is not a black problem. Okay? Our problem is not racism.
Right.
That's white people's problem.
Right.
Our problem is white people. That's our goddamn problem. Now, scrutiny of teaching material in Florida, school heightens under the leadership of the right-wing Republican governor, Ron DeSantis, whose administration says is actively working to protect parental rights. Okay, which are actively working to, and this includes prohibition of childhood education, on gender and orientation. And this fool's planning on running for president. Okay?
Right. I mean, we gotta look at the people that we putting in position, or they try and put in position, because even though we put our vote in, they can go to the tally and do what they want and put the numbers in how they want, and even though you vote, you really don't have that control. They have that control. They can fidget with the numbers and do all kind of stuff to make their man be the man right here. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's so many obstacles against what it is that we need to do that is designed for us to not do it, through their so-called white supremacists.
Yeah.
White supremacy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean,
and the crazy thing is, they tell us, well, keep bringing up slavery and racism and just going to make things continue to be racist, as if talking about the problem makes a problem. And they're telling you, oh, well, why can't you just forget the past? Now, here's the crazy thing about that.
said, forget the past.
Yeah, forget the past. Just forget the past, all right? But these same people can't get over having lost the Civil War. You know that they just recently in the South had a group of these Confederate fools hold a funeral to honor those white supremacists that died in the Civil War. And they don't even call it the Civil War down there. They call it the War of Northern Aggression. And that ain't some racist
Northern aggression.
Yeah, the War of Northern Aggression. Get the hell out of here. And that's what. Oh, we got some more for y'all coming up. WHGE 95.3 FM. The Open Eye.
Yo, you know what up? It's your boy. I know I got 17 jobs I just pulled up. You know what I'm saying? But yo, Sherry, what's good, boy? What's good, Tracy? Y'all, Kiana, y'all got. Yo, stay tuned. Mr. Gibbs. Oh, yeah, and yo. If you got somebody sick at home, carry home in Delaware.
WHGE 95.3 FM. Oh, we still got a lot going on. It's something.
We sure do, Mr. Gibbs. I said we sure do, Mr. Gibbs.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's something when you hear about the police brutality that's going on.
I mean, that's terrible, man.
Oh, yeah. We're going to get to how bad it is in just a second.
I mean, the first slave badge was a police badge, the police star. Yeah.
The slave patrols. The slave patrols were the thing. And you hear people say, well, there are good cops. Yeah, there are. There are good cops. So, if there are good cops, where are they? Well, I'm going to tell you where they are. This is what happens to good cops. Okay? Here are the good cops we keep hearing about. Take Carrie O'Horn. She was fired for stopping an incident of police brutality. Joe Crystal, fired for reporting fellow officers for police brutality. Laura Schlock, fired for exposing corruption in her department. Sana Lopez, fired for reporting an officer who was a sexual predator. That she got fired. She caught this cop doing some nasty, predatory crap.
Yo,
using this badge to do it. She reported him, and they fired her.
I mean, when you dealing with a society that only the Vatican, they got kids and porno pictures on the side of their building with naked kids and under the robe of the Pope and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So if you really open your eyes and you're aware of what's going on around you, of course they're going to try to, not let us know and not let us be aware of how they really thinking. And really some of them don't even care. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's crazy, man.
Sean Gannon, he was fired for reporting a fellow officer for rape. He caught this cat raping a woman and reported it, and they fired him. Not only did they fire him, he had to leave that state.
Right,
because they could kill him.
All the cops. what he should have did was killed the cop that was raping a person and doing his job. He should have did his job. They shouldn't have reported him. He should have locked him up.
That's what they should.
You understand?
Yeah.
They never do their job when it comes to being in the same uniform.
No.
They want to go tell, and then you can't go against the gang code. How you gonna tell on me?
Yes.
How? You know what I'm saying? And that's the way it goes. So now, you going against the gang? They just like gangs out on the block.
Right on.
They even
That's
worse.
why I call them the gang in blue.
You know what I'm saying?
That's why I call them the gang in blue.
That's crazy, man.
Because they like a mob family. And they definitely believe snitches get stitches.
Or did. Either way, they don't want to lose their livelihood, so they put you in the dirt.
That's right.
And that's messed up. When you're supposed to be out here protecting and serving, and we actually paying you to kill us. What kind of stuff is that?
It's called financing your own oppression.
Wow.
Okay? Now, by now, I know we've all heard, we've been waiting for the video. The video is out. The murder of Tyree Nichols.
Oh, man.
Okay, let me get this story in here for those that may not have known. I don't know how you could not paying any attention. 5 former Memphis police officers have been charged with second-degree murder and other crimes in the arrest and death of Tyree Nichols, a black murderess who died 3 days after a confrontation with the officers during a traffic stop. Shelby County Sheriff's Office online records show that Tadarius Bean, Demetrius Haley, Desmond Mills, Emmett Martin III, and Justin Smith were in custody. All 5 were charged with second-degree murder, aggravated assault, aggravated kidnapping, official misconduct, and official oppression. Defense attorney Will Macy confirmed to the Associated Press that his client Emmett Martin III had been charged and had turned himself in. It was not immediately clear if Smith had a lawyer to speak on his behalf, but about the charges.
Right.
Blake Ballin, the lawyer for Mills, said he planned to hold a news conference about the case. Second-degree murder is a Class A felony, punishable by 15 to 60 years in prison under Tennessee law. Let me go back to something right quick here. I want you to listen to these names.
Okay.
Tadarius Bean, Demetrius Haley.
Black.
Mm-hmm. All 5 of them were black.
And when you talk to me and you tell me, because some of the stories that you be yanking up be so serious, and it's more deeper than what we can go in and talk about within the story. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you gotta have that fallout person that you gotta go to, and it's been going on so much. We gotta have somebody to fall out to. We got to have some justice somewhere. And all the things that been going on with the white cops killing them, it hasn't been any justice for them, them victims. Right. Now that this happened to a black person, and it was done by black cops. You know what I'm saying? Now they want to put justice and give them and lock them up and put them under the jail. And I mean, they ain't even part of the police force now. They
were fired. They were fired.
No, but I'm just saying the
I know where you're going with this, bro.
That they putting on them more so than the white people that does it. I'm not saying it ain't bad. I'm saying have justice equally.
And absolutely, bro. Absolutely. You right on point on that. All right. And let me break down to you. Let me break down to our audience where you're coming from.
Right.
Okay. Because of course, first let me tell you how egregious this was. This action, this murder that took place. Okay. You ever been beat up?
Yeah, I have. I'm in jump.
Yeah.
And then I'm glad I ain't get killed in the jump.
Let me tell you something. One of the worst ways to go is to get beat to death.
To death, man.
You know what I'm saying? That's one of the worst ways to go. Now, this brother was pulled over, and as usual, he was killed for a traffic stop.
How is that possible? They
Because
just pull
he's
you
black.
out the car and kill you because you got a
they were
speeding
hostile.
ticket doing
Wait.
5 miles over, Pat.
No, he didn't have a speeding ticket.
I'm just saying that.
Listen, because this is real deep.
Okay.
He didn't have a speeding ticket. He wasn't violating any traffic laws when they pulled him over. He was suspected of violating a traffic law 2 days ago by a bunch of monkeys.
Get out of here.
Yeah, by a bunch of monkeys, race, white supremacist surrogate ninjas who pulled him over immediately with hostility and aggression, pulled him out the car, start pepper spraying him and tasering him.
Wow.
Okay.
Something that happened 2 days ago.
For something that might have happened 2 days earlier.
And it might have been him.
It might have been him. And it's the squad in Memphis called the Scorpion Squad that is supposed to prevent crime. Let me tell you something about policing. Policing does not prevent crime. Okay? Policing responds to crime. There's a big difference. They are not they are not crime prevention officers.
Right.
Okay? They are not, let me say that again, they're not crime prevention officers. They do not prevent crime.
Right.
Now, these 5 officers pulled this brother over, and they beat him. He ran. All right? Somebody's beating you, and 5 people kicking and stomping on you. Your response is, I can't take on these 5 people. Fight or flight. And anybody with any good sense, with a hard ass, are you kidding me? So that's what they did. That's what he did. Well, they caught him. Okay, and you can hear one officer say, I will take this baton and baton the F out of you. These are all black men that did this.
I mean, you got to really listen to the anger that these police have. They have anger for us already.
Yeah.
They pull up with anger for black people already.
5 officers, 5 black
You got
officers.
5 people busting you upside your head with batons
Right.
and steel-toe boots because they got steel-toe plates in their boots.
Stomping and kicking
you. That's
And
ridiculous.
so your reaction is supposed to be passive and not protect yourself?
No, why am I getting beat when I'm only supposed to be getting locked up and taken to the court?
The man was crying for his mother. You know you're in a lot of trouble when you start hollering for mom. You understand that your life is in danger.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's terrible.
Now, the thing about these 5 black officers, remember I always tell you, as long as they're in that uniform, don't give their pigmentation no consideration. Okay? Because they're officers before they're black people.
Right.
And they are on a mission to prove to the white officers
how good I can be, sir.
That's
I'm
right.
the best one around here. I'm the best one. I lock up my own people. I don't care.
That's
I don't
right.
care. Come on,
You
man.
know?
Ain't you
Now,
tired?
back to what Nsoromma was explaining to y'all earlier. Let me tell you about Ronald Green. Okay? Ronald Green was murdered on May the 10th, 2019. Okay? The body cam footage was released, check this out, May the 18th, 2021. Remember, he was murdered in 2019. The body cam footage wasn't released until 2021.
They had the doctor in the body cam. There was so much stuff on there.
Yeah,
So
but the thing is, the
crazy.
timeline.
Yeah, the timeline.
The
is crazy.
timeline. The officers weren't charged until
They worked all that time getting their money, getting
Right.
their lives together for whatever the outcome would have been. They would have been okay.
they were charged in
That's crazy,
2022.
man.
There were 5 officers involved in the murder of Ronald Green. Dakota DeMose, John Clary, Chris Harpin, Corey York, and John Peters. All white.
Right.
It took 2 years, what, 19, I got to tell her.
2.5.
2.5 years, 3
Yeah.
years for him to get charged.
That's right. Before
Right.
it even came up, before the people even really seen justice being even thought about being performed.
Mm-hmm.
But yet, you got the same 5 type of people in these uniforms. Because it's
Let
about
me give you the timeline. Let me give you the timeline on Tyree Nichols and the 5 black cops that murdered him.
I'm so disgusted.
He was murdered on January 7th, 2023. A federal investigation was in place. 11 days later, on the 18th of January, on the 26th, the officers were charged. That's all what? 2 week period.
2 weeks, man.
Yeah.
They jumped in on that. Because you know why, right?
Yeah. Who knew the system could move so fast?
We do, as black people.
Yeah.
We're the ones that it moved fast on.
You can believe that.
We'd be locked up before we even know we was charged.
Yeah.
That's what they do to us all the time.
All the time. That's what they do to us.
And that's terrible.
You know? Oh, yeah. They were charged with the quickness. And, of course, his stepfather told the Associated Press by phone that he and his wife, who is Nichols' mother, discussed the second-degree murder charges. And they, said, yeah, well, these are the charges that, should be in place. Okay?
I think they should get the death penalty. When you killing innocent people like this, and you supposed to be representing that badge, and you supposed to be representing for the protection of the people and the public, and you're a public servant, and you come out and you go murder an innocent person. This person didn't even have a record.
Right.
He didn't even have any type of charges. He didn't. Matter of fact, he was like
I think it was a school teacher.
Yeah. Listen, I'm trying to educate and be an asset to this society. It's easy to go out on a corner and go grab a gun from somewhere and go do some criminal stuff. That's easy. That's easy. Real easy.
Let me tell you about the reaction from the officials. Okay? The police chief is a black woman. Her name is Sherilyn C. Davis. And she shared her reaction to the video of her 5 former employees who allegedly, we got video. Stop with the
alleged, right? Yeah. They always use that alleged thing when they get in court.
The ex-cop faced murder charges in the incident, of course. And she said, while she expected serious charges to come against the officers, these were the most severe she's seen in her career. I saw some of the video. They were five people. They were first they maced him, then they tasered him, and then they beat him
to death.
Yeah, and the paramedics came, and they walked around and said, wow, kind of messed up here. So the paramedics were fired, and they probably need to be charged because they didn't do their charge.
Right, they need to be charged also.
For neglect.
That was a human life.
What she said was, Chief Davis said, he had injuries that I just don't understand. It was incomprehensible to me. We came in the office and decided to take a look Sunday morning, and it was alarming. And she said that, she can understand people being upset. And that, of course, there should be protests, and there are going to be. President Biden said the same thing. We need to pass the George Floyd Act, but people have to remain calm. Okay? Now, what they're saying is, what they're telling you is how you need to react to the oppression and murder that is perpetrated on our people. Okay? Where was this remain calm and all? Don't forget. No. What I'm saying is, don't forget, they prepared for the reaction to the release of the video because they expect when people see this, they're going to go the hell off.
Right.
And well, they should. Why weren't you prepared for January 6th and have the National Guard in place? Right. You know what I'm saying? Why weren't you prepared for the sports game after a bunch of white people came after the sports game and tore up the city, turned cars over, and burned stuff? Why weren't you prepared for that? But you prepared for the reaction of black people to seeing one of their own murdered in this oppressive society, and you're ready to continue on with this oppression.
Right.
Son of a bitch. Boom! Yeah. That's where, I got something for you. Yeah, and I know we came in late, so we're going to roll a little late. But let me tell you something.
But, bro,
pay attention to detail, because there's levels to this issue.
Yes, there's levels to this.
Okay? The wage war started a revolution. The proper steps have to be taken. You have to understand that. The rules of revolution are this, and a lot of our people don't get it.
Okay.
Vision, planning, clarity of purpose, collective trust, and, of course, most importantly, unity. These have been the ingredients of every successful revolution. Okay? Furthermore, there must be dedication to the point of ruthlessness. See, we are ruthless enough in our efforts to turn our society around.
And that's what kills me about us and some of our people. We're not ruthless enough where we're supposed to be.
No.
But we can be ruthless enough to kill our brother and our sister and our family members. We can blank out on them, but we can't blank out on our oppressors.
Oh, no.
And that's what really boggles me about our people.
I heard that.
No.
Because most of us, like you said, come off on a black person, but when it comes to some white supremacist, we ain't ready to bust a grape.
Right. We bow down like, yeah, right. I mean, that's when you're supposed to click on.
That's right.
You click on it when in them situations.
Now, for the rules of war refer to the time-tested principles of Sun Tzu, the art of war. It is advisable for all potential warriors, especially potential leaders, that they study the art of war. Every battle is won before it's fought.
Right.
Okay? Because it's won here.
In the mind.
In the mind. And you defeat their mind. Okay? This is one of Sun Tzu's most significant quotes. And it speaks not only to the paramount importance of planning, but also to the importance of strategic maneuvering that damages and weakens the adversary. Okay? The general that is skillful in attack leaves his opponent not knowing what to defend. Attacking the adversary on fronts, he is too comfortable or arrogant to even consider defending, or doesn't even feel the need for alarm is a tactic on the road to conquering. Sun Tzu said, in the practical art of war, the best thing of all is to take the enemy's country whole and intact. To shatter and destroy is not so good, because they got resources, we want to take that.
Right.
So, two, it is better to recapture an army entire than to destroy it. To capture a regiment, a detachment, or a company entire than to destroy them. Hence, to fight and conquer in all your battles is not supreme excellence. Supreme excellence consists in breaking the enemy's resistance without even fighting. This is what we got to learn how to do, y'all. We got to learn to break their minds. And we got to get our minds back.
Right.
Okay? Because this brainwashing has been going on for 400 or 500 years. Don't think we're going to heal this easily.
Not overnight.
And not overnight.
Right.
Okay? We have to be diligent. And like I said, we have to be diligent to the point of ruthlessness. Which is why I always tell you, now, I believe in scorched earth. And I believe in scorched earth because some of our own will turn against us, and we've already been shown that with these 5
police officers.
Yeah, race soldiers.
Right.
That murdered a black man to prove to their white overlords that they have white supremacy's interests in mind. I got this from this sister. All right, check this out, y'all.
Right.
Dear black officer, how long will you be in the house? Because us out here in the field, I hope that you will talk to master about his cruelty.
Right.
Your brother was hung yesterday. Couldn't you see his body swinging from the window in the attic where they keep you? Oh, black officer, do you know where the origins of your profession are from? Your career path started as a lie and weight gain to catch your cousin on the run. You haven't been more than a private property patrol for hire. That's why you stand in front of the bank we just set on fire. I bet they denied your business loan too, didn't they? Black officer, could you ask the master why they killed your sister? She always said yes, sir, and yes, ma'am. She never raised her voice or her hands, except that one time she denied the master's advance.
Or rape.
Black officer, could you stop turning the whip on your own goddamn people? Ooh. Your master said they had to be punished, but do you even know why? You are carrying your brothers to the furnace because they actually did nothing wrong. Okay? They did nothing wrong. Black officer, when you look in the mirror, do you see black or blue? Civilian or civil servant with no civility in your servitude. You must not know the numbers. You must not know the numbers. Over 50% black for nonviolent offenses. Over 50% of mothers, fathers, sons, daughters being ushered into a system that creates nothing but more problems. And it is you who escorts them to the noose. I mean, how does that feel, black officer?
As long as I get a check, I'm okay.
Black officer, have you read the new Jim Crow? Do you know exactly how private prisons grow? Is your conscience redlined like the neighborhood you patrol? Black officer, when you see us across the perimeter line, do you make excuses for your position? Like, I'm just trying to make a living. Yet you're building your provisions on the system that is financed by throwing black people into prison. Black officer, are you really fighting crime or a rich man's war? Do you feel the same anger when you get followed inside of a store? Black officer, how long will you participate in the oppression of your own? This is the Open Eye, WHGE 95.3 FM. I'm Patrice Gibbs.
Nsoromma.
And as we always tell you, destiny determines who enters your life, but you decide who stays. Therefore, value those who value you, and don't treat those as a priority
Who treat you as an option.
WHGE 95.3 FM.
Yala.
Thanks for joining us.
Yo, thanks for joining. You know, yo, Jared, what's up? Yo, bro. Tracy. Yo, it's like, wow. The boy be doing the dirt to him, you know what I mean? So, yo, you know what it is. Our time is almost up. And, yo, Nsoromma, Mr. Gibbs streaming on platforms. And, Mr. Gibbs.
Hey, what I tell you? Better get it together, y'all. 3 words. Global African supremacy. Because the world was a much better place when we ruled.
And don't be a mush, be a warrior. You dig me?
All right, peace. Thanks for joining us.
Yo. What's up, Samaya?